Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Come With Me video. I'm so excited to be able to fit one in. Hopefully I can fit another one in, but before the end of the year, because there's not a lot going on in terms of releases here. Everything that you guys in America or elsewhere are getting, we in Australia don't get until mid-January. So Ghostbusters isn't even out here till January 1st, even though I was lucky enough to see it. But today, I was really excited when I got the email that there was going to be a preview screening of this film, which I am absolutely so excited to take you with me to go see, because this is going to be a reaction, I'm telling you. So of course, I'm talking about the title, The Scary of 61st. So the reason I know about this film is because of many of you who I've met through this community that have gone to film festivals all over the world and have reported back that this film is absolutely batshit crazy. So I'm talking to lots of you, people in Sweden, hey Gus, people all over who have seen this film have told me that it is an absolute roller coaster. So I'm going in quite blind, not going to look at the trailer. I really want to go in and give you my initial reaction and let you know whether it's worth finding in your local cinema or waiting until it comes out on VOD release. Hi, I never do this. This is future Emma coming in here after seeing the film, actually a few days later. I was in two minds whether to post this video or not, because I am in the approach of going into films completely blind. A lot of you who follow me will know that. That's a fun and exciting way I like to approach most cinema. But this video is a testament to why sometimes that can change the whole context of the movie. After sharing that I'd seen this movie on social media, on Twitter and on Instagram, a couple of you messaged me asking if I had any prior knowledge about the filmmakers. And although in this video I talk about the director being in the movie, I had no idea that this was an extension of the filmmakers' work, which is a social commentary podcast that is highly controversial. So this indeed is a real blind viewing, and it's also a very interesting experiment on how a film that kind of was the runoff of another project, well, that's the kind of the way I see it, made its way to an Australian independent cinema for a preview release, and a horror lover went and saw it with no prior knowledge of their work. It's no secret that I'm a huge fan of dark cinema, and I have talked about very controversial films before. I believe that movies should push boundaries, but in saying that, I can completely understand that this film itself has some very insensitive content, and with the context now, I can see that that was the intent. As I said, I wasn't sure whether or not to post this, but I think that it's quite helpful for people like me who have no idea. And just judge this video as being about the movie itself and not really about the connection to the filmmakers. I hope that makes sense. Enjoy. The main gist of the storyline that I do know is it's about two roommates who find out that their Manhattan apartment is harboring a dark secret, which sends their life into a spiral. The fun thing about this film, and you know it's going to be extreme when it's got this many genres. So on IMDb, it's listed as a comedy, horror, mystery thriller, and it's also R18, so you know it's restricted. I think it's going to be a completely wacky and fun ride, and I can't wait to go for a roller coaster, to be honest, and to take you with me. I'm seeing a day screening as well, which makes it even more strange coming out to the bright light. Everyone knows that feeling when you come out of the cinema, and when you watch something that is so strange. Last time I did it was with Lamb. It just does not feel right to walk out into the reality like that, you know what I mean? So enough chatter, let's go check out The Scary of 61st, and I'll let you know whether it's worth your time and if it's as crazy as people are saying it is. Let's go. Was that a magical Christmas movie? Okay, ready? Deep breath. Wild, wacky, dry satire, conspiracy hole, downward spiral, slow burn, adventure. Oh, and it's bloody too. This is the scary of 61st. This film is not for everyone, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart. I went and saw this movie at a local premiere. Well, it was more of a pre-screening, and as I said before earlier in the video, it was sorry, it's really hot in here. I'm in summer, and I'm not used to filming during the day in my car, but I went and saw it during almost like a matinee session, or an early morning session, I should say. And the peak demographic of the people there, which, I mean, of course, horror is for all ages, but this is very contemporary horror, and again, that is for all ages. But I do think that it shocked a few people, because a lot of people go to these things who are fans of still film in general, and this film is not for everyone, and I think it may have scared a few years off people's lives. The film is about two roommates who move into an apartment, and I do think this is an important piece of the puzzle to put into the video. I did go back and forth whether to bring this up, but I think you need to, and it happens very early on. They move into their apartment, a new apartment, and then they realize that the history of the apartment could be tied to Jeffrey Epstein. You need to know about the conspiracy theories and everything around that whole situation to understand this film, or to appreciate it, if you appreciate that. If you're a conspiracy theorist lover, especially of that portion of conspiracy and Epstein and everything around it, I think you'll understand this film more. I'm not sure if you'll appreciate it. I think that's, you know, it's putting it quite far, but you've just really got to know about that to actually get the full effect, because I do believe that some people were in this cinema and went in blind, which I'm still being very vague. It's just two roommates. There's a lot more that happens, trust me. But I do think that if you didn't know anything about Epstein, this film would not work for you at all. It'd be very confusing. It's interesting that people, well, when we went in, we had the person telling us a little bit about the film before they played it, and they said that it's a very like ambiguous film. I don't think it's actually ambiguous enough. If you do know the ins and outs of different conspiracy theories, it's actually quite straightforward. So I think it's just, you take out of it as much as you understand about the situation, and of course things are up to interpretation with all films, but I do think it is quite straightforward in a very strange way. I'm also going to put below some trigger warnings, because I don't want it to interfere with the shocking nature of the film, but it is quite shocking, so I do think it's important. So I'll just leave them in the description down below, because I do think if you are sensitive to certain topics, you should know that. And the film is basically a montage of these kinds of scenes, so it's very graphic. The film is very sexual in nature as well. It's one of those films where, this is so niche, but this is what the whole film is. It's very niche. It's one of those films where you can't watch it alone, but it's very uncomfortable to watch. I don't actually recommend watching this at home at all. It just wouldn't have the same effect. You've got to watch it in the cinema. Saying all of that to the side, let's actually talk about, you know, obviously non-spoiler, but let's talk about the film, because I've got a lot to say. The film opens up feeling very 70s, almost Rosemary's Baby aesthetics. It looks like it's, you know, shot really raw on film. I thought it was actually meant to be set in the 70s until the girls in the apartment took out some White Claws. This whole film felt like a White Claw ad, at least the first portion. And it's straight away off the bat, you're introduced to their acting style. The film is very, very dry. So acting, I would say that this film is comparable to The Room. This is The Room when your brain is into conspiracy theories. That's exactly how I'd put that. We have this lovely character, a boyfriend of one of the roommates called Greg, and he is like the peak. He's peak Room. All of his dialogue is just strange. It's got to be satire. It's just odd and just so utterly quotable. So the aesthetics of the film are very interesting in that regard. And not only is it the delivery that reminds me of The Room, it's the way the film is shot. Especially at the start, there's a lot of very strange just the angles that they take and what is in focus of the frame. Sometimes someone will be talking and they're, you know, they'll be sitting on a chair and then their legs will be in focus, even, you know, with pants on. It's not like some aesthetic, you know, Tarantino foot shot. It's very strange, and I'm not sure if it's intentional, and that's what kind of gives you that idea, or it reminds me a lot of The Room, because they do that obviously unintentionally in The Room. We never know. But it's got that same kind of feel. It's also got that same kind of inner city feel, which is kind of why it links back to Rosemary's Baby, but that's also because the title sequence was in pink and against, you know, some sweeping shots of the landscape of the city. So yeah, there's a lot of kind of like throwbacks if you're into those kinds of niche, I don't know, cult films, and I guess that's what this film is. It's made for people who are into those niche markets, so it's not going to work for everyone. It's really not going to, and it's not going to work. I mean, it can be a fun blind viewing, but it's not going to work as a blind viewing for everybody, for sure. The director of the film also stars in the film as the role of the girl. She really does carry it, and although she's dry and strange, it really works. And obviously you can tell after knowing that, you know, she's the one who created this whole concept, you can tell how she is the person driving the direction of the film within the story, if that makes sense. Both behind the camera and in front of it, she really does step it up to another level, and I really appreciated her character. I think it was my favorite. The film was also written by her and one of the other co-stars, who is really the lead. Noelle is who I'm talking about in the film. As for the music, very interesting. Most of the soundtrack is quite silent, but we do get some really fun, scary, kind of Christmassy feeling music towards the end. The film is shot around Christmas time, although it doesn't play a big role in the film at all, except the main character's name is Noelle, so very interesting there. Yeah, it really does play into that a little bit towards the end, but it's not actually a very theatrical film in terms of the music. As I've probably mentioned, this film I would not say is for the faint of heart. It has very intense language, number one, imagery, I guess, sexual scenes. The 40 minutes of the film is sexual scenes, and it is just it's just a nightmare, really. And I understand not many people are going to like it. It's not a crowd pleaser by any means, and it's not trying to be. It is, as I keep saying, very, very niche. And fortunately for me, I'm in that niche market. I'm a conspiracy head, and I read the ins and outs and all this kind of stuff, and it's kind of taking a satire look at it. But it's just would be so interesting to hear where the filmmakers are actually coming from with their intent of this film, because it seems the language they use is very strong and almost bordering the line, or like towing over the line of that they could be put in, you know, lawsuits could happen out of this film, especially bringing in other parts of the conspiracy to play. It is a very interesting way that they tackle the subject matter, which obviously with Epstein, it's quite a serious subject matter. So to put a satire and dry and The Room kind of spin on that is just a very interesting concept, and something that I can think and I can believe a lot of people would find offensive, and I can see why. So the intent here is the confusing part, I think. And yeah, it's just very interesting, and I can't wait to hear and read about, you know, the intent from the filmmakers themselves. I will say, I know this doesn't apply to a lot of people, but in Perth, Australia, where I live, they are doing another screening of this film for the public, and they're actually going to have a Q&A that's pre-recorded from the director. So if you are around, I'll leave the information down below if you want to. I'm totally not paid or anything like that. But if you are interested in seeing this movie, as I said, I believe you have to see it in a cinema. It's going to work better with a crowd because it's a very odd experience, and I don't think you should have to experience that alone. People laughed, people gasped, people left during my screening. The whole film is very much, yeah, dealing with serious topics in a very strange, bizarre way. And welcome to 2021, where we don't even know what's real or not, and this film wants to take the time to take you on a journey and lower you into a almost slow burn descent into complete madness. That's the whole thing about this film, is that it only goes for an hour and 20 minutes, but it felt like a lot longer. It really draws out those really excruciating, hard to watch scenes. It is awkward, it is strange, but it is hypnotizing. Yes, I'm not going to recommend this to you guys, to be honest. As much as I've said all of these exciting things about this film, unless you are a complete conspiracy head, this one's not going to work for you. But if you are a fan of The Room, conspiracies, and just strange cinema, definitely check this one out. I find this really hard to score. I'm going between a 5 and a 6. But remember, this is my personal score, and I think it's more important to listen to what I'm saying when I explain the film, so you know if it works for you, than just taking away my score. I always stand by that, so please hear that here. Originality, I'm going to give it a 7. It's a very originally structured film, and the way it's shot is just so interesting, which I think is good, because without that, it would have been a totally different tone. It's so strange to have such a serious message, serious concept, and again, check out those trigger warnings, and really change the whole tone of the film by the way it's shot and the dry acting. And for scare, I'm gonna give it a 1. It's not a scary film at all. Take from that what you will. That was a journey. I can't wait to hear if you've seen this film. Let me know what you thought. I'm sure a lot of you don't like it, which I totally understand, but I can't wait to read all of your thoughts. If you'd like to subscribe, I'd love to have you here. I have 2 pretty epic videos coming up, one very epic one and one that a lot of people have been asking for, so I hear ya, and I will be bringing some Christmas joy. I hope you're having a fantastic day. If you did like this video and you do like my content, please give it a thumbs up and share it if you'd like to, and I'll talk to you very soon. Stay safe and stay spooky. Bye, friends.